Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Monday After Thrones, or just Monday morning, but I'm pretty sure everybody in the world was watching that show last night. So hopefully you're ready to start it off with some Paladins esports. We get a little bit of a ramp up, though, of course, because we are here today talking about the Console League. Tomorrow we'll have the Minor League. Wednesday, Esports Weekly. Thursday, Friday, PPL. So stay tuned on Mixer.com/PaladinsGame for all the glory. But today, let's get it going with the PCL. My name is Randy. I'm joined by Pretty Hair alongside me.
I should have been doing my best brand impression. Back there,
You might have been. If you ever see Nick go silent, just cut to his wide. He's probably just staring directly into your soul and asking you all those burning questions
I've seen things, Evan.
you haven't really wanted to ask yourself.
This is
a very special time.
I know how today will go.
Well, would you share it with us? I mean, that's why we brought you here, man. No. Okay, well, we'll have to watch, I guess. And I guess that means we'll have to watch out for our matchups today because the schedule, the standings, they'll be showing up for you in a second and take a look at how things will proceed and which teams we'll be looking at. iTech is one of the first teams we will be talking about. They'll be going up against Ehrenmanner in the PS4 EU, I believe. And that's that's a 2-3 matchup. So that'll be an interesting one to see how they kind of progress against one another.
Definitely. There's a lot of guys floating around in that region that are trying to make their way to the top. But Flashpoint aren't going to make it any easier for them. Xbox Europe will be up next. A great matchup being played offline in that region today. Cyclone versus Bust Down. That's the 1 versus the 2 there. North America should be pretty quick on that side, heating up versus Low Key. Invictus versus Big Money. Those are going to be your 1 and 3, and then 2 and 4 type of deal. Retaliation versus Cats on Mars. That's the one we'll be watching to round out the day. And then Elevate versus E-Storm, and they're seeing some roster changes this week as a result of a suspension.
Yeah, a little bit of a suspension ban, but they're going to have some different teammates on there, and we'll see how that translates. We're not watching their game this week, so we'll be catching up with them over the next few weeks. Obviously, things getting tighter and tighter as we progress throughout the season. We've got EU Xbox One standings in front of you, as well as PlayStation 4. 2 undefeated teams in Flashpoint and Cyclone, but again, Cyclone and Bust Down, they're playing offline today. That'll be crazy. Radiant and Viral just fighting to see if they can get a tie going. That region is pretty much uncontested right now between those two teams.
Pretty much. We've got an undefeated team in a couple of these regions now, except for NA PlayStation 4. 4-1 for heating up and Invictus. That's going to be the fight for the finish. That's probably the closest region, to be honest. I mean, Elevate and Cats on Mars separated by 14 maps. So barring any collapse or barring, serious troubles after losing SJP, Elevate look like they're in the clear for NA Xbox as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely an opportunity, even though that last game has a little bit more of the closeness of maybe a 2 seed versus a 4 seed, and they both are kind of out of the league of the 1 seed. I think Cats on Mars are on the upswing, and they definitely have to put down Retaliation today quickly and without losing a lot of maps to even have a chance at taking down Elevate, since they're going through some of those roster things. So we'll all see that unfold today on the PCL. Make sure to stay tuned here and make sure to follow the channel so you know when we're live, which I guess it's 24/7 still. So I don't. This the one channel where plugging follows. I don't even know because it's always on. It's always on.
That's the way we attack things here.
You don't even have to
viciously.
Follow me. You'll never not see me ever. It's like that stalker Netflix show You, and except that we're the You, and we're always making sure you watch
Hello
us.
there. What is this now?
I love it. Aggressive content. That's what it's all about. We've got Ehrenmanner coming out as well today, and they're a team that I think in that 2-3 spot, obviously fighting for a lot of not only it's not supremacy, it's the wrong word, but really trying to get their footing, so to speak, in this because when you have that 2-3 and it can go either way in their close games and there's a clear 1 seed, you want to know who's second, who's really the one to challenge that. And Ehrenmanner still trying to figure it out. Obviously, Beanie on the front line, Ernest on the DPS. How can these guys start to shift what's happened and really take control in today's set?
Well, I think when you look at what's happened in the Premier League as well in these past couple of weeks, is that it doesn't really matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter what your past accomplishments are, or that you may have failed to accomplish anything in your past performances. I think it's about coming together with the 5 guys that you're currently with, maybe taking a little bit look at what the team at the top is doing, but realizing that there's so much that can work in the game right now. And the fact that we've seen not really any consistent metas in the Premier League, and to be honest, there's a lot of different stuff going on in the Console League too, so figuring out what the 5 guys want to win with. And then the most important part is like Bonker mentioned, having fun. That's a big part of it. But finding 5 guys that agree about how the game should be approached.
Yeah, that's actually really, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, a part of it is not just doing the right things, but it's at first identifying what those right things are to do in this meta that's been shifting. And, you know, a great parallel to the PPL, if you do watch that, is the way that we've just seen the collapse of Envy right now, where that meta that had worked for them is no longer working, and NIP just have a better grasp of what works right now with this triple DPS. I mean, I think triple DPS has always been in the favor of Europe. We've seen that work for Fnatic many years ago. It feels like many years ago, but, you know, many Paladins years, let's put it that way, ago. And now it's continuing to work. Can NA adapt? Those are the questions Ehrenmanner have to answer for themselves, and especially helping to define the console meta, which has been only really understood by maybe one of the top teams in each region. It'll be a good day to see if they can make that adjustment themselves. The map's coming in for game number 1, Stone Keep, and here are the bans for both teams.
Yeah, Serpent Beach, Warder's Gate, Bright Marsh, Jag, all going to be taking a seat this time around. Bright Marsh and Jag, pretty notable there. Serpent Beach as well, pretty often in the rotation. As we head on into the draft here, remember your bans for console are usually revolving around those hit scan tracking based ARs, and I guess in the case of Talus and SMG, he might be close to that PC Grover for me. Never really banned, and then when he's picked, it's not like that like auto win type of thing. And then in the case of Grover, Grover's not even picked or banned now. He kind of fell from the top all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes Mist Vine will do that, you know, send you up and down, or send you down and not up when you wanted to.
Champions
I think iTech here trying to just get the upper hand with their picks, Victor. Although I hate seeing it in North America and in our Pro League, I do like seeing it here in console. Really consistent pick, a lot of blast damage as well, and holds those corners on Stone Keep.
And the hunt is
Gotta
on.
get those ARs, baby. Both of them locked in pretty quickly. Genos will as well. Potential for a ton of bonus damage for Ehrenmanner if they can line it up. Can't say it's the hardest thing in the world to do either. Both those characters, you know, have great options for that. Genos has duration loadout cards. Tyra's got duration loadout cards. They can have a lot of uptime if they run it nicely.
It's only like really one person's role to get the extra bonus damage, because Genos is just going to throw a mark into somebody. So if a DPS has that, it's just whatever. And especially if Tyra has that, she just puts her mark on whoever, and now, you know, the job is done. She's got it all. She doesn't have to think about what's happening, so she can get that much damage. And it's one of those things where Ehrenmanner putting themselves maybe in a position to take control of this draft. They have to do this if they're going to win. But Khan and Barrick, it's a strong front line. But what they've got, I mean, Stone Keep, I like Ehrenmanner's at least approach currently.
Definitely.
The next
I
time
got
you
a pretty
see my
strong
banners,
spot here, but double
run.
hit scan on iTech, triple hit scan really, if you throw Khan in that mix, could be problematic for Drogos, depending on how he plays it from. A lot of people have been trying to make the Worm Jets work on Stone Keep. A lot of them have, but a lot of them have also failed. So playing into this matchup is going to be tough, and if you can do it here, then I think you got confidence you can do it probably pretty much anywhere.
And I also look at Anar and Ashe and this level of damage with the lack of sustain, sure, from Genos, but the extra damage. It's just, Ashe is such a problem. I think a lot of it's going to rely on Beanie. It's going to rely on VClax. How can they position themselves as aggressive front lines on Ehrenmanner to be able to utilize this healing, but also the aggressive damage that this healing will provide for them? It's going to be an interesting one. iTech versus Ehrenmanner getting going here in just a moment. You can hear the map music, and you can see the map now. Stone Keep, it's game 1. Let's send it down to your casters, Dave and Gore.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Nick. And happy Monday morning. It is the Console League, and it is Stone Keep. And on the side of Ehrenmanner, they get themselves the Genos Tyra stat, Gore. That's something we've seen a few times here, and it's played out pretty well.
I mean, being able to grab a Luminary, Genos, plus a hunting party Tyra is going to give you kind of a lot of damage, and then you put that on top of just the general damage Drogos does, and it's going to make you hurt, I guess, is the best way to say it. Ehrenmanner, like, as long as the shots connect, they're going to do a lot of damage. The thing is, and especially the way iTech are taking this fight, they recognize that Drogos is kind of the win condition.
Right.
Playing undercover so he can't hit them.
Just going to hide out back in this church and not let you do any damage. In the meantime, Benji's going to find some damage of his own and start off iTech with an early first blood. 21% now on the point for them to start off this game. Now Drogos has made his way into the church area, trying to pour out some damage onto this point. You have Tyra up top as well. So Ehrenmanner doing a good job at least of finding the damage, but with almost 72% here on the point for iTech, you have to be careful. Not fighting this would just end up going through in favor of iTech.
And right now, I think the big key is honestly just this health bar right here with
Yeah.
Sir Benji. Like, if Sir Benji goes down, then they lose pretty much all point presence, but that reset, that dash, that shield, and the healing coming down from Saris just makes it so clean. He's not dying.
He's not dying. The bowling ball shield helping out the Barrack a good bit. The flank coming in now from the Drogos, pouring out some damage as well. Benji trying to do his best to stay on the point, and he's doing just that. 90% here. The rocket boots, or the bowling ball boots, going to give him some shielding right now. He's just dancing back and forth. He realizes when he's taking too much damage, he gets off the point, and then gets back on. The second, oh nice! VCon with a nice double there coming out from the Genos. That's going to turn this fight in favor of Ehrenmanner, and they can get aggressive now, and with 78%, this will likely go through in their favor.
And honestly, that was the only time I think I've ever seen a synchronized jump while still inside of a through time and space. Like, both players on iTech recognize that there's no way out of this. They don't have their dashes up, or they didn't react the way they needed to. And they both jumped at the exact same time. Like, it was just so hilarious to see from the side. But unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to escape it. And that's the thing. I think iTech played that point fight better in general. Like, they had better point presence. They were winning the fights more often. When it comes down to it, that last little bit comes down to the fact that Ehrenmanner just are doing more damage.
Right.
And once you win a fight like that, once you hit that through time and space and get 2 kills, all of your damage can go into one consolidated place, and that's the Barrack who's been alive this entire time.
And I think they did a really good job as well. V-Clax kind of dancing back and forth with Benji. A nice convergence comes out, going so low. It's Beanie, but he's actually going to stay alive. Well played. Using the shoulder bash to get yourself out of there so low. So ends up burning a Saris ultimate for nothing. iTech do find themselves some space, so maybe not entirely for nothing. But that point fight was actually really good going back to it. The Inara and Barrack were just kind of dancing back and forth on the point. When one or the two of them took too much damage, they got off, but then Ehrenmanner found the aggression at the right time and turned that into a point capture. iTech, though, 4 ultimates to spare here. Alex keeping himself alive. About a minute left here on the defense. Ehrenmanner, who through time and space again, it's going to find 1 this time, so they've been hitting very well here for VCon. Looking for some more damage. That's 2 down now on the side of iTech. Paradox, he answers back, but Beanie cleaning up the 3rd. Now it's down to Barrack and Leon to try to keep this one from going through with about 50 seconds left.
I mean, Paradox is definitely the one I'm keeping my eye on. Not going to be able to connect fully or get any reset on that ult. While he has good damage as Leon, he's going to need a lot more to come into this Barrack, doing whatever he can to just try and hold on. But I mean, this 39 seconds does not seem like a long time for the team unless someone gets a kill, and it needs to be this matchup right here.
Right. You got to get the Drogos down. You need to clean that up. The Void Grip going in onto Alex. iTech have found themselves some space. They found themselves 2 kills. 3 will come out here as well. Respawns will come in. That's a pretty good distance to travel. No ultimates up for iTech. You got 1 up on the side of Ehrenmanner. Is that enough room to get 1 more touch? I think so. I guess if you have a Drogos, you can. Yeah, the Inara. Everyone's in position at least to get 1 more touch here.
And that's the one. Not dismounted Ashe. She's going to be able to dash forward at least to be able to touch it. Unfortunately, I think Inara got knocked off a little earlier, but they still get the overtime. Unfortunately for Beanie, that means most of his life, about 4,000 health down, now 5,000 health down. Just not a good spot to stand at.
Not the best spot. And it almost seems like Ehrenmanner we're capitalizing on really good through time and space. Is that how you pluralize it? Through time and spaces.
Through times and space.
Through really good Genos ultimates. They were kind of capitalizing on it. A nice double kill turned into a point capture for them. A nice kill onto Tarek there. Ended up with their team coming out on head. I think this is the
simultaneous jump. Oh, they got knocked up. Okay, that makes way more sense. It was Ashe knocking him up. It wasn't them jumping. That makes
it would have been better if it was them
sense.
jumping.
I would have loved it to just be like both of the comms being like, just jump, 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 jump. But this comes into the same conversation we've been having, actually for like about the last week, maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
Where it just comes down to the fact that like Ehrenmanner, like you said, kind of won that first point fight and almost got that second push off of great kills coming from the ult from VCon.
Right.
Can you do it without that ult? Can you do it without it finding kills? Like, if the next one whiffs, are you just going to lose the point?
Right.
That's where your team fight really matters. If he doesn't get double kill there, do you still win that initial point?
Ooh, nice convergence right into a barrage. Down comes the banner. Down goes Atomic AMK as well. Beanie utilizing that banner zone very, very well on his side. iTech only down 1 right now. The rest of them are going to be able to stay up and stay alive at the moment. Barrack is the one who is the target of most of the damage here. Ooh, nice. 3 kills now coming out on the side of Ehrenmanner. Through time and space is available, but they're not going to need it. Unlimited fails finds himself 2.
Well, they gave me the answer. The answer
Right.
is yes. They do not need
They
the
don't
ult
need it. They don't
to be
need
able
the
to
ult.
grab this. Ehrenmanner look a lot crisper that time around. And again, one of the things they're going to have going for them is not only do they have V-Clack sitting on a Gnar that's going to be hard to kill, they have the Ashe that's going to be hard to kill. So 2 front lines that are already difficult to displace. Barrett can keep up with them, but then you add in a Luminary plus Hunting Party boosted
Right.
Drogos and Tyra. And it's just, there's so much damage that should be coming out from Ehrenmanner that, admittedly, as a frontline, standing on the point should be the hardest thing to
Right.
do. And Sir Benji literally touched and then died.
Touched and then died, but found it, yeah, he did not find himself a kill, excuse me. In the meantime, the Enlightenment comes out, goes a little bit wide. The Seismic Crash did the same just a minute before. Paradoxy, the last line standing here for iTech, and Ehrenmanner likely finding themselves a second point here. The Barrage comes out, finds a kill. That's all he's going to get. He's going to trade out his life. Is that ultimate worth it at that point? Maybe the timing was just a little bit off.
I mean, that's one of the weird ones where it didn't get anywhere near as much as he wanted, but because he used it when he did,
That's
how
true.
he did, it's like you're going to recharge it,
You're gonna
especially as
recharge
Victor.
it. Right.
And like trying for it, I would say is better than just letting it go.
I guess that's fair. I mean, the other alternative is then waiting until the final point fight here, in which case you wouldn't have used it at all. So that's using it just maybe to have it work out there. Not coming up in his favor that time. Through time and space, gonna find one this time as well. But Ehrenmanner essentially pushed back all the way into their pace at the moment. Kills are gonna come out here. iTech getting very aggressive, trying to keep Ehrenmanner from getting any sort of distance on this one. The Commander's grab. Gonna toss Ernest over his head. V-Clack's down as well, and now iTech can put on the full court press.
And again, they're getting this appropriately. They're not really using crazy ults to be able to push this forward. There's nothing, I want to say, out of the ordinary from
Right.
iTech. It just feels weird, and honestly, it's just because Ashe ult from Beanie very early on that round created a lot of space where they couldn't kill this Ashe that's going to cause them a lot of trouble. Then there's the Luminary boost. The Drogue is
Right.
able to kind of capitalize on that, and they just kind of systematically push them out on the side of Ehrenmanner. Whereas when it comes to like, we're not going to use ults, we're just going to fight like a good old boxing
Right.
match, essentially, iTech almost always comes on top. So this comes down to me is it feels kind of like a drafting issue for them. Point control, unless you change the way you're doing it, like Sir Benji can't just run to the objective anymore.
Right.
Like you have to get a kill first. Whether it's like literally any member of Ehrenmanner is going to make it easier for your team to get that step forward, but you have to find that kill before you set up on the point.
Is it just too hard to stick your head out around the corner when you have a double buffed up Drogos flying around? I guess.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and it kind of depends on the cards he's running and like what he has going on. But for the most part, Barrick is going to have about 3,400 health.
Right.
He's going to be sitting at 3,700 here, right? Because he has Brave and Bold, 300 health. But Healing Station, Bowling Ball, Failsafe, those are going to extend that 3,700, let's say
Right.
like 6K.
Sure.
But that's assuming you're able to dash, drop below the threshold, dash, get the reset, then get a heal. Like,
Right.
you have to have all these things like happen in a specific order, follow the list perfectly, and otherwise that happens. You just get demolished, and there's no chance for you to live.
Nearly get demolished. Beanie's playing very aggressive here. He's holding off 4 members of iTech right now. In the meantime, Ehrenmanner are pushing through the payload. Beanie does end up going down. A nice convergence finds 4, and there's kills on the back side of it as well. Oh my, that was huge. That was a convergence for the ages. That was perfectly stacked.
I just want to live in that moment for a little longer. That was phenomenal.
It's like you're wrapped up in a warm blanket. Just, oh, it's a great feeling. Warm and fuzzy
I
seeing a
can't think,
convergence like that.
anyone who plays Ceres understands, like, getting 1 or 2 people per ult is like your hope.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, right.
1 or 2, hopefully you get a high value target. Like, maybe I pull the Tyra in, maybe I pull the Genos, and like I get rid of the support, and then like you feel good about it.
Right.
Getting 3, 4, or 5-man pulls is like one of the best feelings in Paladins, even though you can't follow up on it yourself. Like, the only reason that works out is because you have Paradoxy, Atomic, Alex, and everybody else to really jump in and deal that damage. But man, does it look good when it happens.
It looks good, feels good. iTech will be happy about it, but they have to find their point fight here. They found a couple points on defense, and it's pretty much the same as last time, where Benji is the one on the point, trying to get up some of the percentage. The Dome Shield's going to come out as well, find themselves some space. 42% for iTech at the moment. No comeback mechanic for either team. Beanie in the back line, dropping Alex Kidd as well. Ernest cleaning up some kills now on the side of Ehrenmanner, and 3 members of iTech essentially pushed off the point there by Beanie. They got the kill, but Beanie was so far back that iTech was able to be on the point, or Ehrenmanner, excuse me, was able to retake the point. Ooh, nice through time and space. Manifest Destiny's gonna get Paradoxy out of it, but Ehrenmanner yet again find themselves on the point after going behind a little bit early.
I mean, a lot of this, and again, now Sir Benji's taking the path that I want to see them take very early on. Unfortunately, they're split up. Alex Kidd dies on the right-hand side, and Ernest is just looking to melt people, and that's what's been going on. Ernest killed 2 people at the beginning. He kills 2 people right now. You're just letting the man run rampant. Like, there needs to be a consolidation at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just find a single pick on iTech before you jump on that point, and you can win this point fight, but that's the only way right now to beat this composition Ehrenmanner has made for the point fight.
I mean, in an ideal world, is it the Drogos or the Tyra that you're picking off, or literally anyone in your, like, you just need just some small, like, are you saying like a 5-to-5 head-to-head is just too much for iTech? They just need some sort of advantage.
I think ideally, it's going to be the Tyra or the Drogos.
Right.
Tyra, Drogos, or Genos are like your top 3. But if you get rid of the front line, like Ashe has been causing so much space and creating so much room that it's not going to be like a deficit. It's like, oh man, we got Ashe instead of Drogos. Like killing one opens up the door to killing the next, right? Once you make it a 5v4, you can start steamrolling. And if you get rid of like the Genos or the Tyra, you can make it so, well, we're not taking as much damage. If you get rid of the Tyra or the Drogos, you make sure you're not taking as much damage. And if you just get rid of the front lines, you at least make sure that you're going to have a little bit more room to stand on the point while you get aggressive.
Well, the overpower is going to be good for getting rid of one of the frontliners. Beanie goes flying off the map. Half health here on the side of a couple members of Ehrenmanner. Nice through time and space again for Vcon. Finds one, and that's kind of what Ehrenmanner have looked for this game. They look for just a little opening on the back end of some great through time and spaces. Here comes the Dragon Punch. It's going to find Alex, but he's going to get traded out as well. It's 4 up now for both teams' score. And the banner's coming down.
Up to the high ground he goes. Atomic AMK looking to get bullied into the corner. Gonna be able to make it to the base and stay alive, but everyone's locked down. And again, distracted. Beanie's just creating the room. It's a 3v1 up here, and then downstairs it's gonna be a 2v2.
Right.
And unfortunately for Ehrenmanner, they have the best opportunity to push, but they missed it.
They just miss it. A little 2v2 on the backside ends up cleaning things up for iTech at the moment. Again, a 1-for-1. Unlimited fails going low, but he stays alive. The Genos healing keeps him just alive there on the back end of that fight, so buying his team a little bit of time. He's the only low member right now. iTech starting to build up their defenses here. Ehrenmanner not with much to work with, only the crossfire. You'll have the seismic crash up soon. iTech have the tools on defense here if they want to try to make it 3-3. 15 seconds left, though. The push is about to begin. Here comes the crossfire.
I mean, just melting that shield, melting that health bar when the shots are hitting. Ernest has been doing so much damage this game, and now Sir Benji is going to be under the brunt of it. Yeah, the dome shield comes up, but it's only going to be up while he's alive.
And he's the only one who's really frontlining right now. He's essentially 1v4ing, and if he goes down, this could spell trouble for iTech. He's going to walk around the corner. He's doing a good job of balancing out the damage, but Vcon's going to clean that one up. And now it's Beanie. Another through time and space comes out. Does not connect this time. Overtime ticking away, but iTech are at a deficit. They're down 3 to 5 members. Ernest is going to make it even further in their favor. Here comes a nice convergence. Going to pull some in, but all the kills are coming up red right now. Vcon with 2. Beanie looking to clean it up. The Barracks going to be the last one to go, and it looks like Ehrenmanner are going to get this one through.
Beanie just played that Ashe on the high ground so well, where it's, I'm going to keep 2 people to my left, and I'm going to constantly barrage them with damage.
Yeah.
And then anytime someone looks like they're going to jump onto the point, I'm just going to go ahead and kinetic burst them a little further. Like, I'm going to toss them into the shark tank with hungry sharks, and then 4 members of the team would just surround them, demolish them. And he did it like 3 times in a row.
Right. Just doing a good job.
Fed him to the Sharks.
Good job. Fed him to the Sharks. Ehrenmanner finding themselves victory number 1 in our first set of the day. Let's send it back to the desk to talk about it.
Well, thanks, guys. I thought Ehrenmanner did a fantastic job, and I guess the score basically mirrored my opinion as well, as they take the 4-2 win. Nick, that was a classic combination, a Drogo, some aggressive front lines, the Tyra, the Genos, it seemed to all be working.
Yeah, double damage amp looked really good for them, and I definitely want to shout out Genos. I love to shout out the supports when you can. I felt like he did a really good job staying involved and doing good damage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot.
5k
That's a
damage
lot.
compared to 12 for Tarek on the other side. You can even stack his damage against the Khan, the other, aggressive tank who's supposed to be very involved, who's supposed to be a hit scan threat, one of the more consistent outputs in terms of the front line. He's running Storm of Bullets as well. It's like all that stuff adds up to a 9-4 slash line for VCon. I thought his time and spaces were very good. They didn't always kill someone. They pushed someone, Leon usually, into an uncomfortable position.
Ernest really seemed to also really have a command over the when to go, the aggressiveness, the thing that kind of I think I've been seeing missed in console over the last few weeks, and just in general, that lack of maybe coherence on, okay, now it's time to push that deadliness. And Ernest seemed to have these great crossfires that would just change the pace of the game. He would have a lot of these firebombs that he would put aggressively on these front lines, make them make different decisions. I liked what I saw from him, and I think overall, this is a good sign that Ehrenmanner are ready to take control in the set.
It really was a multifaceted victory for the boys of Ehrenmanner. Certainly shouting out Ash as well. It's Beanie put good pressure onto the back line, making sure Saris and Victor were never quite comfortable, never able to just do this, just free fire away.
In that regard, though, I thought that Benji also did a good job holding it down as well. I thought that they min-maxed, these moments that were pretty difficult. And I think even when you look at when Beanie jumped up onto the ledge with the assert dominance and he kind of created that space, he's got 3 with him, and he's looking at his team is actually getting pushed now by Benji, so no one can follow up on that. Those are the little things that I find are kind of hard to manage as a person on the ropes, or basically being contested very hard. But Benji putting that reverse pressure back meant that it was all moot. It was all, okay, evened out, and they really couldn't capitalize on a great ult and a great aggressive attempt. But there's plenty of games to really get the results going for it. I just, now they're going to have to look to do it in map 2.
Yeah, that was a close one. I think this is going to be a good set for sure. Both those teams looking so competitive on the first map as well. Normally, you'll see one team kind of stomp it out on their map selection, but the fact that we see a pretty contested Stone Keep is definitely a good sign for the rest of this set.
And I think we did mention something earlier, that heating up was actually, we mentioned it was
elevated. I mentioned it was elevated.
But is actually heating up, that has the suspension, so that should be even more interesting heading into things. But we'll obviously be going into game number 2 here of this map. It is Ice Mines, and that's an interesting one for me. This is very PC, but I don't know if I'm used to seeing Ice Mines map 2 on console very often.
I think at this point, you're seeing it every week. You're seeing it almost every set in the PPL.
Yeah.
And that's something you can look at. You can say, all right, this is the way these people are winning it, and maybe this could be a pocket pick for us now. This could be a free win.
No, very good point. I mean, there's a lot of data on Ice Mines right now, and even though it's not directly translatable, there's a lot of things that are translatable. The one guy I don't get on Ice Mines, as heavy as I've seen him picked up, is the Victor. I think the Victor's very average on Ice Mines specifically, and not even just in a champion pool. I think just on Ice Mines, he doesn't bring a lot of the dynamic that I find wins the fight for sure, but he's good DPS. So if they do go for that first pick, and it doesn't seem like they are, that would have been peculiar to me. They're going for the Genos, which says that this damage amp is something we want to play around as much as possible.
Yeah. Definitely have, time and space as well. Could be a good look for them. Khan will be picking up yet again. Didn't exactly feel its impact in game number 1. I think Victor can be decent on Ice Mines. It's just like, if he gets shut down, he's not doing anything, and there's really nothing he can do to fight against it. And it was kind of Invokal that convinced me of that, and Makoa will actually be picked up here. He was like solo winning these fights until NIP just kind of sat on him and pushed him out from the high ground. And that's really, I don't know, that's kind of the case with any of those like high DPS tracking ARs. If you just let them shoot, you're going to lose the fight.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, iTech here so far, no Victor needed, but as we mentioned him, he shows up. So there he is. Barrick, Grok, Khan, Victor. Good damage, a lot of pressure, but not a lot of blast. Grok's going to contribute a lot of that poke, though, and there is a lot of poke on that side. Ehrenmanner had everything they need to kind of fuel that up in the group with the Grover and with the Pit now.
What's going on here?
This is some serious some Bittner stuff right here.
So if you're first picking Genos with this type of comp, I really do feel like you probably want Luminary. You want all the damage you can get.
This could be binary.
With this. Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, but then I'm like, if you're first picking, I don't think you first pick Genos for binary. I feel like you first pick him for Luminary, and then maybe go damage options with Grover and Pip. Grover's like pretty good naturally healing. I don't know if they'll go for roots or what exactly it is, but first picking Genos for binary.
I kind of like that idea. I don't know if they'll go all the way in, but I like that, though. I think Deep Roots, maybe Luminary, get a Catalyst Pip, and you just kind of got a lot of healing every which way. Could be exciting. I don't know what Ehrenmanner are thinking, but we're going to find out right now as we send it down for Ice Mines Game 2. About to get going.
Thank you, guys. Game 2 almost underway, and a little bit of spice on the side of Ehrenmanner for our Monday morning. What do you see over there, Gore? I mean, you got a Grover, you got a Genos, you got a Pip. What the heck's going on the side of Ehrenmanner right now?
What I was hoping was going to be the case was that it was going to be Luminary, but it ends up being Binary Star, so it is going to be damage for unlimited fails. I feel like that was a first pick that even if they weren't going to go Luminary, that was a we don't want iTech to have Luminary, so we're going to grab it.
Right.
And then we're going to go with the rest of the draft. But also, I mean, think about it this way. 3 supports on Ice Mines, if you just don't die, you never have to leave the point. You never lose.
That's true. Tons of healing. I mean, even if it's a damage Genos, he still heals. So that's going to be something to watch out for on the side of Ehrenmanner. iTech are the ones who are on the point initially, though. The Makoa Ash is certainly a scary tank stack to go up against on the side of Ehrenmanner as well. This is what we saw last game, where iTech would get onto the point very early, get a pretty big percentage lead, and then Ehrenmanner would just find the right time to get aggressive and go in. At the moment, though, they're all pretty much zoned out here on the backside.
The big difference is that Luminary damage boost, that Tyra hunting party damage boost they had last game, made it a lot easier to be like, you know what, we're going to give you 80% and then find one pick on a front line and then move in. Like, right now, you don't have as much damage to burst down this barrack. When a shield comes up, it's going to be a lot more. Until you get Wrecker 3, he's just going to be able to do exactly what he did there, where, okay, cool, I'll cede some room. We're at 84%. We'll just get aggressive a little bit later.
Well, some ultimates are starting to get popped out, and the aggression is actually coming on the side of iTech. They have 99% here, and that becomes 100. Point number 1 for them on the back end of a few ultimates. You still have the barrage. You still have the overpower. 4 top damage dealers all on the side of iTech. Saris, 520 damage. What are you doing down there?
She's hanging out. She's keeping that barrack alive to make sure that he can be up there with the 15k damage. He's not hitting those 4-man ults just yet. He's waiting a little bit.
No,
that's a round 2, round 3 play. Can't
right.
have that too early.
It's up and ready if he wants to use it right now. But iTech, they were able to weather the storm, and it was interesting. Alex on the con was essentially zoning out 4 members of Ehrenmanner. He was in that kind of side room next to the point, and Ehrenmanner were just too scared to move forward, and when they finally did, they got a Tempest to the face. So really well played there, I think, off the bat from iTech. Ehrenmanner on the back foot here on defense, though.
And this is a really, really good example of, like, if you were confused, well, actually, that's a beautiful evil mojo. Nice. I don't even care what I was about to say. Ernest, making sure I eat my own words before I can even get them out of my mouth. That should be a full wipe. Just 1 second. They need
you were
one
about
kill.
to say how bad the Pip is. Just kidding.
No, I wasn't going to talk about the Pip. I think Pip is actually the biggest saving grace for this. I think it was kind of weird. Makoa Ash didn't seem as aggressive as I thought they would be. Pip is easily one of my favorite champions right now because I think he's just the best. Like, out of every champion in the game, I feel like Pip is underrated, undervalued right now, even though he's getting picked up a lot more. Because he gets so many ults. He does so much healing.
Ooh,
Moxie
nice.
is such a clean card for you. Like, literally everything in his kit and the way he works, if you have a good pit player, I can't think of a map I don't want him on right now.
Well, you saw the way he can change games. He stalled out that fight in a big way just now, but Bittner as well in the PPL this past week. I mean, he spun Envy in circles with a lot of the evil mojos that he was playing and the movement. I mean, you said it best. He's just a game changer. For the moment, though, iTech are able to bounce back. Here comes the Tempest, going to find some damage. Is going to find a kill onto that Pip, so they got about 10 seconds left with a couple man advantage here. He's going to get himself out from the hook. Ehrenmanner need to find themselves on defense. They do have the evil mojo back. You talked about that. I mean, you're essentially getting them.
Keep the Pip count, counter up. Like, I mean, just bring it up. It's going to come up like... This is going to be an exexaggeration, but might not be. It could very feasibly be like 20 times in a game.
Right. I mean,
Depending
you really
on the
think
length of
about
the
it.
game.
I mean, if he uses it every time it's up, I mean, it could be out all the time. He doesn't use it here, though. 3 on the side of iTech, 0 kills answered back with on the side of Ehrenmanner, and iTech are going to push this one through and make it 2-0. So some nice evil mojo, some nice ultimates. Not really coming out to play, and Ehrenmanner find themselves down 2-0.
And this is what last game was. I mean, that's beautiful.
Right.
You can't ask for something better than that. Of everyone get into this nice little corridor where not only am I going to be able to polymorph 3 or 4 of you, but then I'm going to have follow-up shots onto all of you so I can get the kill too. But last game I said, iTech played the point fight better, but the damage amp and everything that Ehrenmanner had gave them the edge, gave them that advantage.
Right.
And that was a perfect example of what it's like. iTech play the point fight perfectly. They don't need to get the kills. They just have Sir Benji dancing around. They keep you zoned out. You don't really have someone who can just stand and take the brunt of the damage like this Barrett can on the side of Ehrenmanner right now. And so because of that, they have to find a kill. But this time they don't have the tech completely to find it. This Evil Mojo will change the round, but only if he can find a couple kills.
You got to be careful. You have 4 resiliences up on the side of iTech as well. He's going to find 2 kills, or excuse me, 1 kill, 2 targets with that Evil Mojo. The second kill is going to fall for Ernest here. Now it's just a Victor up top. He's got to deal with the Makoa, Pip, Grover, and Genos all getting into his face. Barrick, last target on the side of iTech, and Ehrenmanner, they do go down 42%, but the fast cap now in their favor, and they only use an Evil Mojo in that fight.
And that, again, is just the strength of Pip. I think you could honestly give me any 4 other champions on Ehrenmanner, and I don't even care what they are. I think the Pip is game-changing enough that I'd say you can win at least 1 point fight if he hits a good ult.
Well, it's game. I mean, you essentially make 3 or 4 members, 2, 3, 4 members, however many you hit, worthless on the opposite side. A good Tempest finds some damage. A Dome Shield comes out as well now for iTech, and Ehrenmanner lose 1 early on, but so do iTech on the same side. Paradoxy finding himself a kill early on in this fight, and Atomic AMK unfortunately walks right into it through time and space, and that's going to cost him his life. Here's the binary start damage going in on the Paradoxy. That's a clean 4-0 here for Ehrenmanner, and only Alex on the con up to contest.
I mean, if you think about that 24-round clip, I can't remember, we did the number, but that's a lot of damage that's going to be coming through. And he's not quite top of the charts, actually right in the middle of the pack with the 37k damage from this Genos, but I mean, if you think about it, 37k damage from a Genos that's coming through. Like, Binary Star is augmenting that enough to make him more comfortable, but when he's finding those headshots, when he's in like a 1v1 like he was earlier with Victor, as long as he gets a couple of headshots, he's usually going to take you down faster.
Here comes the banner, trying to buy some time there for Beanie up top, and he's doing just that. Paradoxy not missing any shots right now, though. Drops Ernest on the backside. That's the only kill so far in this fight. Beanie is getting very low. He's going to shoulder bash his way out and find some healing, but he's going to go down certainly. Alex drops him as well, so iTech finding themselves a great defensive stand here to start things off. Convergence is ready. Barrage will be up soon. So's the Evil Mojo. Wouldn't you guess it? Evil Mojo is up and ready if they want to use it. There were some resiliences on the side of iTech coming out as well, so those Evil Mojos are going to start hitting just for a little bit less.
You know, there's some teams I've seen in the past where I want to know like the uptime, like I guess how long they will hold on to their ultimates. I want to know how often Pip just doesn't have one. Like right now, how many seconds is it going to take where he just does not have an ult? Because it's not a long time. He's got to recharge it pretty quickly, already at 25%. And again, this is like, you don't even have to go morale boost half the time. If you go for a morale boost 3 on Pip, like, you might as well almost get a full reset with how much damage you're going to be able to follow up.
All right, so it was like 8:05 is when he used his ultimate. We'll see when it comes back up, when the Evil Mojo is ready. I mean, granted, he's found some damage and found some kills, so it's certainly not an exact science. But about 40 seconds later, he's already 50% of the way there. I don't know, call it every minute and a half. You have an Evil Mojo up and ready. That's a pretty good ultimate to have on his side. Ernest doing some face tanking at the moment. The payload's getting close here. iTech on the back foot, trying to weather the storm. That is damage. Ooh, that's another nice convergence. That got 3 members, I think, on the side of Ehrenmanner, and the kills are starting to come out on the back end. Paradoxy with his first in this fight, looking to find some damage again onto the side of Ehrenmanner. Makoa's going very low here. The shield gets countered out. The shell spin's going to get him out and in safely. 8 seconds left now on the payload. Only 1 down coming back from base for iTech. Tarek, though, finds a kill onto Beanie. That could stall out this defense, and it does. I'm a prophet.
You're a prophet. Could stall it out. Does stall it out.
Does stall it out.
Keeps them a little bit, I guess, safe in terms of it. Now what? 3-1 here for iTech.
Ooh, nice.
And you just got to look out for that. That's the same thing that was happening in last game, right? Where it's like, cool, you actually had I think iTech had a considerable chance of coming back in and almost wiping the floor with Ehrenmanner. If they don't have the Evil Mojo up, and you can find, and maybe if you worm right through that whirlwind as well, you are in the perfect position to wipe them off the point. But if 2 or 3 members get hit by through time and space, you're not going to have anywhere near the same opportunity.
That's just out of your hands at that point.
Yeah.
What are you seeing differently from iTech this game, I mean, they're team fighting better. I mean, the map is different, granted. I mean, it's a totally different team comp. But do you see anything differently from iTech that's allowing them to be up 3-1? And they got beaten pretty handily last game.
It's just this Barrack being able to stand on the point as much as it does. Like, I honestly think Sir Benji is doing the exact same thing he was doing last game, but this time there's no
survive.
Luminary, Tyra, Genos, Drogos dumping damage into him. They have so much more control on the point.
Well, he's going to stay alive, and he's going to help his team find a kill. The Dome Shield is out, 60% here. iTech now just putting in a zone. I mean, they found a kill. Here comes the banner down as well, but Alex is going to be able to zone out a few members. Ehrenmanner need to get a touch here. 81% on the point for iTech. This could be turning into a 4-1, a flipperoo here for iTech. The barrage is going to come out. It's going to find some damage. It's going to find a double, and iTech are going to take it here, 4-1, after this overtime slips away. Oh, but Mako's going to get in. But at this point, they're just getting some consolation touches. iTech going to take it. Well played there from them.
We're going to throw as many bodies onto the point as we can to see if we can prolong it, but running in one by one and
it was really over a couple seconds.
They're just padding stats at this point, just giving another kill, a little bit more damage for everybody on iTech. And again, a lot of that comes down to, well, is Evil Mojo up at the beginning? Can you get two members out of the way? And if no, then iTech should win this fight. Like, that's really pretty much how I felt out.
Well, it seems like that's what Ehrenmanner needed to win those fights, is that Evil Mojo. If it wasn't up, wasn't really going in their favor. iTech claim game number 2. Let's send it back to Evan and Nick to break it down.
Well, here we are. iTech seemed to have a way to bounce back, and we thought this was going to be a tight 2-3 set. It certainly is. Both players and teams not really trying to give any ground to each other. Ice Minds ties it up. What do you think happened in that set to make it really just hard for Ehrenmanner to keep the momentum?
I think it's more win conditions for iTech and more consistent damage, simply put. I think the Grok bounces and having Victor in the back line without anyone to really push him down was a big problem for them when he's almost doubling everyone else's damage. And again, things like Overpowered, that's very, very free to just throw Mako off. That's exactly what they did. And there was not a lot of ways to respond from that, especially once the Evil Mojo fell off later in the game. 4 resiliences online, and the chickens just weren't quite having the impact that they once did.
And, you know, you look at Paradox, Scott, here, and it is a very, very paradoxy. And, you know, I think it's a very just strong showcase of, yes, Victor does bring a lot, and you got to respect it, especially on console. And so they do need to maybe pay attention, prioritize it. It felt like I saw Ehrenmanner going a little odd as far as the 3 supports here. We've seen some crazy stuff, but it didn't really feel like it synergized well enough.
Didn't feel fully planned out. Almost like to keep taking things away just so the other team wouldn't have them, but then you're left with a bunch of stuff that doesn't really make sense together.
Well, here's what we got. It's kind of like you're draft picking, you know.
The night before the grocery store, you're trying to make something with all the ingredients you got left over.
I was thinking of like a Magic draft that you just, because if you draft in Magic, you just keep taking like the best card that you see in a pack, then pass it on, then you take like the best card you see, and then you're just trying to take best cards from everybody. But if you're not building a deck, then you have all these random cards, and then everyone else is maybe built towards something important. That goes to show if you have a consistent plan and you just know what you're doing, it might be easier to get some results than to go that wild. So they hold on, they get the victory. It's 1-1 now. Map should be coming up very, very soon for us to see where game number 3 will be. It's now a best of 3, and Splitstone Quarry will start us off.
This is likely to have a more standard comp. Grok is something, though, that I wouldn't be surprised to see come back. He definitely had his ups and his downs. No real balance changes to sort of catalyze any of those prioritization changes in the draft, but he's definitely, you know, a good character for console. You have a lot of easy targets to bounce off of. The movement isn't super erratic. Tracking heroes are just so much better on console for the most part, and then also Tempest is a very good way. That's like one of the few ultimates we saw that actually kept iTech in one of those points. Yeah. Just to be able to gas pedal yourself and usually one other frontliner into a spot you really need to be.
Yeah, it does have a lot of swing potential for whatever reason. I mean, that Tempest, and especially the height that it adds, it just puts Grok in this position where he's not really vulnerable anymore. You know, shooting the Grok is more of less the issue or less the option, really. It's trying to sustain against the pressure that is on you. Great changes when that took place. I always thought it was like a funny idea that Grok was going to fly, but it worked out very, very nicely. Vivian and Khan here for iTech. Genos taken again for Ehrenmanner.
It's going to be solid. I don't think Genos is a automatic win condition, especially with how important Vivian has been. And I think Khan synergizes very well with her. If they can just queue up together and sort of take control of wherever they really want to be on the map. But Makoa Grok is a definitely strong way to bounce back here for Ehrenmanner, especially if they can smell a composition that is going to be pretty tightly packed together.
I mean, the thing I was a little worried about is seeing VClax go 1-6 on the Makoa after picking it in the same position last game. So clearly a lot of confidence from them. But if I'm looking at what's happening in this set, doesn't feel like that's a pick I'd go back to as strongly. But they really must feel that the Genos is the key for them to play their game. So the Grok taken away, that's the adjustment.
You are not welcome here!
I think the devil's advocate there would be that he gets thrown off the map a lot, but that's not going to not be the case here on Splitstone either. He's gonna be the guy that gets dunked, unless it's Inara. Like now, at least there's a conversation there of who do I dunk.
And I'm thinking because Beanie plays, I mean, unless it's champion specific, usually he's more of the aggressive front line. That might be Beanie on the Makoa and Clax going back to the Inara, which might actually then be saying, okay, let's get you on your comfort back again. I think that could be where we're seeing Ehrenmanner go. The Drogoz is well risky into the Vivian. She does not run out of bullets quickly, so Drogoz going to have to peek and poke. He cannot stay in the skies too often. And the Leon. So a lot of pressure. But I guess Ehrenmanner feel like...
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be something they're super worried about. I don't know if it's that with Damage Amp and Drogoz, you get back close to that conversation of like matchups don't really matter if you two-tap everybody.
Sure.
That, kind of worked in game number 1.
Yeah, and maybe it'll work here. Splitstone Quarry for game 3. We continue the first set of our PCL.
Thank you, guys. Getting into Splitstone Quarry. Ehrenmanner looking to bounce back here. Back to the Luminary Genos on their side. But you also have the Damage Grok coming out on their side as well. Bit of a more standard lineup on the side of iTech. Which do you like better, Gore?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I'll be 100%. I don't know if I have one that I like more than the other. It is kind of depending on performances when it comes down to it, right? The Vivian Leon, though, I think is going to be a little bit easier to pull off, and I think it has an easier win condition. Whereas Grok, Grok's going to do a lot of damage, Drogoz is going to do a lot of damage, but because of the hit scan pressure from iTech, I'm wondering if it's going to be the same performance that they could have. I feel like iTech have the easier to execute job. But also Luminary on the other side.
But also Luminary. That's something you have to always keep in mind. Atomic AMK is going to find the first kill here on the side of Ehrenmanner. They're pushed back at the moment. iTech back on the point. Unlimited fails answering back with a kill of their own. 69% here for iTech and climbing, trying to keep themselves on the point here. Ehrenmanner trying to retake.
And at this point, again, it comes down to whether or not Serbenji can just stand there like he wants to, or if he's going to get pressured out. Drogoz is applying the pressure right now. Luminary boosted rockets do a ton of damage. And so it's going to be, can Atomic AMK get rid of him in the air? And he's not really prioritizing him there. You're going to see him miss 3 shots in a row on him. But they pressure him out, and that's really all you need on iTech. They're going to be able to grab that. And it's just, you get 1 kill, and you control the zone. That's all they've been doing. That's what they did last game. It's what they tried to do in game number 1. So far, it's what they're doing here.
And yeah, I mean, it's on the back of 1 kill. They dropped just the Grok. This time they clean up the Inara as well, but it's just essentially a zone of pressure. They were able to get them off. Here comes the through time and space. Not going to find a kill. Commander's Grab's going to find a target. A Tempest to get out and safe, but it's not going to work out here for Ernest. Paradoxy and Alex both with 1 in this fight. And Ehrenmanner are down 2. They answer back with 1. Now they're down 3. iTech is firmly in the front foot here, Gore.
I mean, VClax's doing whatever he can, but Inara can only do so much on her own. And usually that's kind of like either stand on the objective with no pressure around you, or retreat. There's not a lot that she can, like, she can get a really good ult, she can do good damage, but under the brunt of the damage that is iTech right now, you don't want to be there. Now the Dragon Punch gonna be coming through, should connect right there onto Benji. And at least getting that kill is going to alleviate the pressure. But just a minute and a half, like even on Splitstone Quarry, that's plenty of time.
That is certainly plenty of time. Unlimited fails, buys his team some space, but he now needs to find some kills on the back end of it. iTech have 4 ultimates to work with if they want it. 0 as well, call it 1. The seismic crash almost available on the side of Ehrenmanner if that's the route they choose to go. Paradox, he just melting with these Sentinels out right now. So low is Ernest on this Grok. Is he going to get away? He literally has a sliver of health. He didn't even have one full bar. Finally, the Grok falls, and now here comes the press from all of iTech. There's so many low health bars. They have so much damage ready if they want to use it and push it through. And at the moment, it looks like they're going to do it.
I mean, getting aggressive V-Clax, unfortunately, wrong area, and that's going to be a good shot from Atomic AMK. Again, now you're starting this fight as 5v3. What are they going to do? An Ancient Rage is a lot, but I don't think it's going to be enough to be able to swing the fight back in your favor.
Not when you're alone. All you have is an Ancient Raging Beanie. Unfortunately, he's going to fall. VCon, hopefully not dying here at the end. Oh, he does. Nice. Nice, Atomic. Finds the kill. Finds the kill there at the end. Just a little extra.
Nice.
Nice. It's the, have you seen those videos on YouTube? It's like the old dude and he like licks a spoon and goes like, nice. Have you seen that guy?
I have seen that guy. I almost feel bad for knowing what you're talking about, but it makes me laugh. And
well, I'm glad that you
that's
do.
how
Otherwise,
I spend my
I'd be
time
sitting,
after work anyways.
I'd be sitting over here alone laughing. Only 3 kills actually on the side, or 3 deaths, excuse me, on the side of iTech. Paradoxy a couple, Benji with 1. The rest with 0. Only Beanie and Unlimited fails finding the aggression that they're looking for Ehrenmanner. What do you think needs to change on their side? I mean, that's a quick 2-0 here for iTech. What are you looking for Ehrenmanner?
I feel like you have to pressure out Paradoxy or Atomic AMK like early to make sure that Unlimited Fails can have some room. He has to play in such a specific region of the map where it's just like, no one can hit me here unless they get super aggressive. It also helps if you kill Benji off at the very beginning. And with comeback mechanic, that honestly might be all you truly need. But Unlimited Fails is like in that awkward position, especially as a Drogoz, where you're not fully safe if they decide to look at you. You're more than likely going to die. You need your team to create that zone.
Well, iTech is zoned out pretty firmly right now. They have little space to come back into it. Here comes the Dragon Punch. It is going to connect onto Alex. So Unlimited Fails, utilizing that ultimate pretty well up to this point in this game. The Dome Shield's going to come out as well, going to protect Benji from a little bit of that Tempest damage. But he's going to shortly go down here. So Ehrenmanner finds some kills, just utilize a couple of their ultimates. And with Fast Cap enabled, looks like they'll be able to take their first point here. But iTech they're around. I mean, they certainly are in a position here where they could get aggressive. The Enlightenment comes out, just not in time. Gets Void Gripped off of getting the touch, and Ehrenmanner find their first point.
And that was great presence of mind from Ehrenmanner. But again, and like the big issue I have every time they've gotten a point is it looks good. They're actually successfully winning the team fights handedly. But it just feels so, you only won the one, right? And like you won one, yes, right now you're doing really well in like a follow-up, but with the Fast Cap, when you have that ability to just get that extra tick, or in this case, that extra, like that 4% instead of 3% every single tick, it just makes it go by so much faster that you don't have to worry about what are we going to do after this. Like, you don't have to think ahead in the fight. Like, cool, we have this point. That's all we needed. What do we do for the push?
At the moment, though, looks like they haven't quite figured out what they want to do for the push. It is rounding this corner here, so finding some progress. But Atomic AMK, he's been a quiet on fire this game. He doesn't have the top damage, but he's certainly been a presence where he's up top. He's finding the damage. He's finding some kills, some last hits here onto Ehrenmanner, and firmly on the back foot. 1 minute 20 seconds left. And not much coming out for Ehrenmanner in this. They do have 3 ultimates, if that's the route they choose to go. iTech with a couple up as well. But now they just full court press. They just get all up into their face. They keep Ehrenmanner on the back foot here, trying to prevent them from finding. Just don't move forward. You know what? I found out for the first time the other day, believe it or not, the lava flow on that side of the map is also a map hazard.
Yeah, that's one of my.
That was only the fidget spinner.
No, it is much lesser used. I think the only time I've ever seen that successful is when people are attempting to, again, like that's the anti-stagger of, okay, well, you're trying to stagger me, I'm just going to run into the lava. Or I'm so zoned in on this fight, I forget where I'm standing, and I take that one accidental step back left, and I walk right into the lava. That's the only time you truly, I feel like, get to see it. I think maybe a couple times you'll see someone truly die to it, like get tossed into it, but the fidget spinner's the one to worry about.
Most of the fighting is going on in that corridor with the fidget spinners. A nice stun here for Ehrenmanner. Finds a couple kills, but the Whirlwind's going to top them right back up here. iTech losing health bars. Alex needs to be careful not to die in this fight. Benji's going to stay on the point now, trying to force Ehrenmanner back. With 5 seconds left, kills are coming up blue at the moment. This could go through if iTech staggers too much.
A couple of good shots. An Ancient Rage is ready, and this time around they can use it aggressively instead of defensively. They could tie the game up, honestly, 2-2. It's a scary scoreline to be at if you are iTech here, because if you lose one fight, you might lose the game, especially if they can find this push. But with Beanie going down, I don't know how likely it is.
Tempest finds some damage, but just before that, Paradox, he was in a beautiful spot. Just standing up top, pouring down damage on the Ehrenmanner players below. The Dome Shield's going to come out and buy some time here. Overtime still counting down for Ehrenmanner. They have to stay on that payload if they want to keep this game alive. But don't forget about Atomic. He's just standing back and pouring out damage. They're more focused on Vcon and on the Inara on the point right now, on the payload, excuse me. And Ehrenmanner are sweeped. It's going to be down to a Makoa. He's going to get cleaned up. And iTech are going to find themselves point number 3.
It's big, though, for Ehrenmanner to not only have made it that far, kind of force a lot of discomfort from iTech as well. You get the Sentinels popped. Don't know how many of those are still up, but you get the Enlightenment, you get the Dome Shield. You get rid of 2 big, I would say, kind of point-controlling ults. Like, Enlightenment can go either way. It can be a save my life. It can be I need a kill. It can be I'm going to just try and move you away from the point or get a huge chunk of burst damage right here so we can follow it up. But you keep the Ancient Rage, you keep the Dragon Punch, and you almost have the Time and Space. Like, you have enough to get rid of members of iTech that I think Ehrenmanner can win another fight. Whether or not they can make the push afterward, whether or not they can kind of continue that role, and if things, you know, kind of stray away from this 3-1, 2-point lead iTech have, will they be able to, you know, get the point without a fast cap? It's yet to be seen. But with a fast cap, they definitely have the tools.
That's all they're going to be concerned about right now. The fast cap is ready for them. If they choose, not if they choose, if they're able to get onto the point, iTech, though, are going to be the first ones to do it. 3 ultimates ready for Ehrenmanner. Only 1, almost 2. Here comes the Ancient Rage, though. He's going to zone out, but it's almost defensive. He's not able to find the damage. He's going to turn around, try to find something onto Benji. But in the meantime, it's not going to happen. A through time and space is going to counter some back, but he's running right into Atomic AMK. And iTech find themselves 50% here on the point. Beanie drops as well. And iTech now just need to zone. They'll clean it up 4-1.
Oh, there's the Dragon Punch. I feel like Alex Kidd was going for like a potential sidestep. You can't really control your flight immediately. It's not a very fast flick when you're flying around in that ult. So if he had been able to do that right, you might have just seen Drogoz fly straight into the lava.
Nearly did. Nearly came to fruition. That would have been some justice for us. Some kills coming up blue here, though, for Ehrenmanner. Atomic AMK cleans up 1 on the side of Ehrenmanner. So iTech on the back foot, at least at the moment. 50% now. Fast cap enabled for Ehrenmanner. But iTech now are back. They have some ultimates to use. The Dome Shield's ready if he wants to put that one down. Paradoxy pouring out damage into this Makoa. It's working out in his favor at the moment. The Tempest is going to come in. Is it going to find any kills, though? No, at the moment it's just finding damage, which is, I guess, all you can really look for. Vcon cleans up 1. Paradoxy is going to be the second to fall. Ehrenmanner on the front foot here, but watch out. You have Tarek on the Grover pouring out damage as well. Here comes the Seismic Crash. That's going to find a couple stuns. Benji falls, but now it's Makoa, and he's so low. He doesn't have the healing right now. The Genos is not there, and the Whirlwind's going to top off iTech.
And that's such a good Whirlwind call. It keeps Atomic AMK in the business. Beanie goes down, and now with the damage between the two of them, the time they just bought, they weren't even able to touch in time.
Oh, no.
That's so unfortunate for Ehrenmanner.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate.
That much of a gap of time that they needed.
And it was really, I mean, you bought time for the Whirlwind to come back up, not topped off all your health bars, and iTech claim it in a nail-biting final point.
And if that ult doesn't come through like at that very second, right? Then it's all of a sudden you lose Atomic AMK, your Leon pressure's gone, you don't get that follow-up kill on Makoa. That point goes skewed the complete opposite direction. So it's just a small play at the very end that makes a huge impact.
Well, all things were coming up Ehrenmanner in that final team fight, but a little bit of luck, a little bit of timing for iTech claims them game number 2. Send it back to Nick and Evan.
Well, iTech kind of steal that one at the very end, but a ton of healing, and Tarek has a undying game, which is not something you could always say is easy to do in our pro leagues.
Definitely not. Just enough there. That's kind of the theme of that game there. Whether it was the Con Shout or the Grover Whirlwind coming in at the right moments. Just a little bit too little damage from the side of Grok. He was hitting most of those shock pulses. I mean, Ernest is top damage on his squad almost in the game. Atomic AMK probably netting himself nearly 10,000 damage there at the end, playing melee range Leon. He really had to get in there and kind of put it all on the line.
It seems like this Makoa has really gone away from what they've found valuable as far as creating the type of pressure that they want. And, you know, earlier on, we saw the Ashe, and I believe it was the Inara. That just seemed to be so much more successful for them on a whole in creating this pressure. But on the other side of things, you know, Tarek obviously going undying, that's an issue with the draft more so than anything, because every support, every character in Paladins should die a couple times in a normal game. So when you have someone who wasn't dying, usually it's not this just insane level of play. It's that our lineup is susceptible to pushing their backline. Our lineup doesn't have enough flank pressure, whatever it was, and that seemed to be the case here.
And it's not even like that was a short game, right? Everyone else is 6 to 8 deaths in this game. He's literally sitting at 0, so pretty crazy that he's able to stay alive, especially, you know, doubly so on Grover. Like, that's a little bit more understandable on like a Genos character. But when Genos is sitting at that, you know, 6 to 8 death mark, and you're sitting up in the business, you know, whirlwinding on the point and still at 0 deaths, pretty impressive.
Full caught 3. I mean, and it could just be prioritization too. I mean, the fact is sometimes, you know, if Grover dies, maybe this is an easy game. Maybe this is an easy win. But he didn't. And that's one of the things you got to give a shout out to positively.
Yeah.
Frog Isle is now the map that can seal this set for iTech. A huge win for them. And Frog Isle is always an interesting one. We see a lot of snipers here. We see a lot of deviation from the norm. And range is definitely everything unless you want to go for some pressure.
Have to see if they ban it out here in the phase up. Would let a lot of other interesting stuff through that has been pretty critical to the set earlier on. I think this was the first map because of snipers being banned out. It was either last week or the week before. I did get to see a Talus here, which is kind of fun. You don't get to see him very often, but he will take a seat this time. Victor will be the only Mr. AR open. We'll see if Ehrenmanner grab it first or if they'll go for another Genos.
Mirage incoming!
I think that answers our question.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Barrage incoming. And iTech now have their choice front line here. They're going to go for the Genos yet again, a first pick in somebody's book. And they're going to go for the Khan. It's a good overpower map. That is for sure.
Khan has definitely been premier over Makoa in this set for sure. They haven't really cared too much about it, but they're still going to grab him.
Last one standing.
He's definitely a priority frontliner. It's just about where you feel that he sits. Barrick is still on the come up as well. Impressed to see kind of, you know, how fast he's sort of trickled down and, you know, played
in this game,
minor
you
league,
win
played console,
or you
played
die.
well here as well
There is
today.
no
That's a big
ground.
thing to note,
They just
especially on
can't
Ice
stay away
Mines
from
and
me.
especially on Stonekeep. Despite losing that one, I thought Barrick was played very, very well in both those games.
Yeah, I actually really liked a little touch we may not have talked about in the cast, but Barrick got master riding last game. Was just straight to the point, holding it down. It seems like that was a very clear objective control for iTech, and if they don't use it this time, I can expect that maybe Fernando will play a similar role.
Out here,
Obviously,
I'm
since the
judge,
Barrick is on the side of
jury, and
Ehrenmanner, the Kinessa,
executioner.
though, comes out at the end, and this is interesting. What do iTech do? We've not seen a lot of backline dive. I mean, the Zen.
No. I think I mean I like Zen. Zen is one of my
Especially
favorite console
Genos.
characters as well, man. I'm a really big fan of him, and they're gonna spice it up. They're gonna double
Ambitious.
down here. All right, I'm down to see it. 0% pick rate, 0% ban rate.
Ambitious.
I have nothing to say. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go.
Ambitious. It was the nice thing to say. I keep remembering this for some reason. I would always have midfielders on my team, defensive midfielders. They're not supposed to be shooting, but every now and then they get about one shot a game. You give them, and they just crack it from half field and see if they can make like a Steven Gerrard. And it never happens. But, you know, it'd always be like, all right, ambitious. All right, let's get back on D and, you know, figure it out. Can't get too mad at them for trying it once. They're in the lead as well. Get a little spicy, Frog Isle. And the Conga's banging. Let's see if Evie can have as much fun here on this map as she tries to pressure out a sniper.
Woo! To Frog Isle we go. And Evie coming out now on the side of iTech. And I think Evan said it well. You know, why not? You're in the lead, you're playing well. Let's just throw it out and see if it sticks.
And not to put the pressure on, but Paradoxy, you have potential to become Nick's favorite console player if you make this EV look really good.
What's the backstory there?
Nick likes Eevee.
Oh, okay.
That's the backstory there. I'm actually going to be impressed with it because Paradoxy, in this kind of context, I mean, pretty fresh to the team, completely fresh to the league.
Right.
Played last week and this week. I think are the only 2 weeks he has like competitive play.
Right.
And so bringing out an Eevee is just big energy.
Right.
I guess the best way to describe it.
That is big console energy right there. Getting into the backline already, though. Finding his
looking
impact
good.
early on. iTech, 51% now. And it's almost like the Eevee is just enough pressure to get Ehrenmanner too nervous to push forward.
And Eevee on console, like, it's been a discussion. It's not the easiest, especially into something like Kinessa. Like, the hit scan players are going to take her out more often than you typically would see in an Eevee, right? Or than you would, I guess, typically see in any circumstance if you put it in like a void. But because of the fact that this Eevee like isn't going to be able to blink as fast, isn't going to be able to soar as fast, like isn't going to have that mobility quite as quick, it gives Kinessa, it gives Victor a little bit more of an opportunity to maybe like get that one extra shot you need to kill her off.
Little extra timing there, but at the moment, he's making it work. I mean, he found some early damage. It was the Khan who cleaned up the kill, but Paradox, he found the damage onto the Victor. And it was all iTech needed to capture that first point. I mean, they essentially stood on it and didn't have to get off for the rest of the time. Some low health bars now on the side of Ehrenmanner. Unlimited fails, finding another one for himself in this game. This is where he needs to come up big. He needs to find some damage on that Eevee. Atomic AMK, though, is going to be the one on iTech who's finding the kills. He has 2 so far in this engagement. Paradoxy cleaning up V-Clax, and it looks like iTech are poised to get this one pushed through.
That was like the perfect of, okay, well, everything's happening over here. Like, it's all about Eevee. Everyone look at Eevee, and that's kind of where iTech's play is. It's like, hey, look at me. Like, just be distracted. Look over here. These are the shots we need.
Yep.
And then the minute you stop paying attention to it, Atomic AMK is just like, oh, okay, I'll just hit like 2 or 3 with one presence. Like, you know, like, I guess I have to, you know? I mean... Such a burden.
Such a burden. I guess I...
5-0-2. Such a burden.
The team is on my back. 5-0-2. No, but Paradox is doing a good job. But on the opposite side, though, look at Unlimited Fails. He's 3-0.
And the only one with kills.
The only one with kills, yeah.
He's 3-0, the only one to not die, the only one to get
He has an unlimited KDA at the moment. I mean, he has unlimited fails, unlimited KDA.
If you actually try to calculate it, a black hole will open. And now that we have a picture of one, we know exactly what will happen to us. Probably inevitable death for anyone near the black hole.
I was trying to...
That would be a cool ult.
What, a black hole?
A black hole.
Well, it's kind of... I mean, Convergence is kind of... I mean, it's not the same, but it's,
well, like,
it's a gravity
it pulls
that's
people
pulling
in,
everyone in,
and then they just get crushed.
Oh, just kills everyone.
Like, I just want the visuals on it. I don't even
OP,
care.
Gore. An ultimate that just sucks everyone in and
kills them instantly.
Seems reasonable.
100% execute threshold at all times.
Yeah, right. Eliminates 100. It does true percentage health damage at 100% of health. That seems reasonable. Design team, get on it. I think they, you know what you need to do. At the moment, though, Paradox continuing his offensive push, finding one. The Convergence comes out, finds one on that as well. But Ehrenmanner are back on the back foot. It's 81% here for iTech, and Ehrenmanner are in no position to try to retake. There's just too much pressure, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Part of it's Eevee, part of it's just this Leon. Like, Atomic AMK are looking incredible. And then the frontline pressure that's coming out is something that we haven't gotten. And again, this actually goes back to a conversation we've had in the Premier League a little bit. Eevee with a Luminary Genos is, like, amazing. Because the trickle healing you're going to get from Genos means that you're going to have another extra shot that you have to take before you can truly die, right? Like, people are going to not commit to you as heavily because they're going to think you're going to die a little bit faster than you do, and you're just going to do more damage than they expect. You're going to be able to 1, 2, maybe 3 tap most people you encounter here. So as long as Paradoxy God keeps this up, I mean, that payload's moving pretty quick.
It is, and Ehrenmanner needs to find an answer to it right now.
Bangarang.
That's not how you want to do it. Bangarang.
That's all it was. That's all that could come to my mind.
The broomstick song is Bangarang when you're on it. That just starts playing in the background. The Ancient Rage is going to buy some time for Beanie on the Makoa. Unlimited Fails is going to try to find some damage at the moment. No, but he's going to go down anyway. Unlimited Fails is continuing his tear from the backline, though. He's the next target of the Fernando. He's low, but he's alive at the moment. The payload's so close to going in. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Ehrenmanner finds some respite at the moment, but here comes the Eevee yet again.
Having a player, so first off, Atomic AMK having the performance he's having is phenomenal. The front line's doing what they're doing. Genos being able to kind of play his role. Like, this is exactly what you need out of 4 of the 5 members to make this Eevee work. And having that player who can flex onto an Eevee and make it work in a competitive environment like this is probably one of the best things you can have for your team. Tarek, though, is going to be the one who gets his name mentioned. He does go down, but he gets 2 kills before.
Pretty nice Convergence, though, is going to answer back. There's only 2 members of Ehrenmanner left. Make it 1. It's all down to the Kinessa. Make it none. Oh, I missed that. I dropped the ball. Make it 1, make it none, and make it 3-1 here for iTech.
There it is. You locked it. You locked it all in.
I brought it full Convergence. I pulled it all together at the end there.
Full black hole, 100% execute ultimate.
Right.
That's kind of what that. I'm gonna say that's kind of what that game felt like, right? That was iTech being like, all right, game 1, the draft kind of went out of our favor.
Right.
Game 2, we got to play our game. Game 3, we got to play our game. Game 4, we got to make you forget what it was like to play on Frog Isle. Like, you spent most of the time in base. You saw maybe a third of the map at most.
Right.
So
You're trapped in
It's
here
a
with
big
me, is
lot,
what iTech
yeah.
were saying. But they started off the day very well, did Ehrenmanner, but unable to kind of find that momentum towards the end. But now you have to look at iTech. They're playing really well. They win today 3-1. It's going to be it for our first set of the day. To break it down and set up set number 2, let's send it back to the desk.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. It was a good set. 3-1 ends up being the state of the games today, and iTech will take that one. They now go even higher over Ehrenmanner, who had their opportunity to kind of contest things, but it doesn't seem like it was able to be contested today.
Yep, that was a good showing from Evie as well. You know, we had a lot of skepticism about her. Blue hit us with the 0-3, I think, historically, an all-time in the PCL. So Evie's first win in the PCL, guys.
There
we
you
just
go.
witnessed it. I was here in the chat, 38,000 damage, almost top of the charts. So well done, Paradox. And in a set that was not exactly one-sided either. That is a hard-earned win. That is iTech battling this one out 5-1. It's always got that element of surprise in a way. Not a lot of people play against it, so it's certainly, if you can bring it out with some semblance of confidence, it's going to be a big boon for you.
See, the thing is, it works kind of sometimes both ways, because that mobility, it's so hard to track on console, but it's also so hard to do well on console.
Yeah.
So if you can put in that extra time, you're absolutely right. I always remember in our console play test, I used to try to play Eevee. And, I was like, against somebody who didn't really know how to play console well, it was very effective. I was like, this is kind of, but then, of course, if I had to step it up, it was very, I didn't put enough effort into that as well. Let's take a look at the standings as things have developed here today. We've got some new points for us to look at. iTech continue to push closer and closer to the ever-elusive 1 spot of Flashpoint, but really they just cement that as far as the rest of the 3 teams in this league, they are a league above them. Flashpoint's still pretty dominant. I don't know if anyone's going to be taking them down anytime soon.
Barring any catastrophic failure, Flashpoint are very, very out in front. Not only would they have to start losing, but they would have to start getting 3-0. They wouldn't, 3-2s are just not going to cut it with a 15-map lead.
Yeah, no way at all. This seems like a good thing to be aware of, and also you can only do what you can do. Can't control the rest of the stats. Got to play your game, and iTech definitely did that this time around. We're going to take a quick break, but that doesn't mean that we won't be back with more Paladins Console League. So don't go anywhere. We have more games, more plays, more Paladins coming up after this.
the Paladins Console League, brought to you by Skillshot, Hi-Rez, Evil Mojo, iNap, SteelSeries, and Respawn.